Hey guys, this is Brendan with Gone Mobile Vans. We're here at our shop in Costa Mesa, California. Behind me is a high roof 2025 ingot silver Transit. We turned it into an awesome adventure van, some really fun colors inside. I can't wait to show it to you. So this is a 2025 high roof all-wheel drive Transit. This has got the EcoBoost engine with 300 plus horsepower, 400 plus pound-feet of torque, 10-speed transmission, fantastic platform to build on. Right up front, we've got the bi-xenon HID headlights. We love how these look. They're a really nice option, to make sure you order those with your Transit from Ford. In the front, we replaced the Ford stock grille with a Raptor grille. We get these things from overseas, but they sure really cap off the aggressive look of these vans. And right below the Raptor grille, we've got the CA-tuned off-road bumper. We love this bumper. This is our go-to bumper and winch combination with the Warn Xeon 12S winch. We think it's a fantastic setup for the Transit. It's also been the default for the Sprinter for years, but man, it really caps off the aggressive look of this van, gives you some recovery points and the ability to self-recover. We've got two KC Titan lights mounted on the bull bar. These lights have got full amber for dusty conditions or snowy conditions and full bright, easily controlled right from the dash. For the suspension on this van, we went with the Van Compass Topo 2.0 kit with the addition of the lower control arms. These control arms are high clearance, so it gives you some better ground clearance up front, and they're fully adjustable. They'll be working perfectly with some forthcoming struts from Van Compass. And in the rear, we've got the Falcon Fast Adjust 3.3 shocks to round out this whole suspension package. So as for the wheels and tire package on this van, we went with the Method 703 wheels. This is our go-to wheel combination for most of these vans. We've wrapped those in the Falcon AT4s. These are the Wild Peak tires in this 265/75/16 size. These larger tires really puts the van in the right proportions in our opinion. The Falcons are great on-road, nice and quiet. They don't sound like the big mud tires, and off-road, they're super capable. On the top of this van, we have the Flatline Van Company Safari Rack with the drop front. So that drop front is there for light bar in the future for this client. On top of the rack, we've got two 100-watt solar panels. We have a MaxFan 7500. We have a Nomadic Cooling X2 AC unit, and we have the Starlink Mini up there as well. And mounted to the side of the rack, we've got the Fiamma F45S awnings, a 10-foot awning. Perfect size for this type of van. We love this awning, and the manual crank on this is the right way to go in our opinion. Right below the awning, we've got a rigid industry scene light that helps illuminate your campground right outside your sliding door, and you can get some light underneath the awning if you have it deployed at night. So we have a solid glass window from the factory on the sliding door. Most of these vans are coming this way. I think they're fantastic. It's to keep it that way. It's got the privacy tint to it, so it really makes it hard to look inside the van. A little bit farther back from there, we have the color match flare space flare. We've got this half slider window in this side as well as on the other side with integrated bug screens. Really nice to be able to open those up, have the MaxFan on, and get a nice breeze while you're sleeping. So on the top of the roof rack at the rear, we've got two KC scene lights. These are the 20-watt lights, perfect for illuminating the back of the van as you're setting up camp at night or loading up to get out of there. On the driver's side door, we've got a Flatline Van Company tire and ladder combination carrier. So this allows us to carry a full-size 265 tire spare and easy access to the rear of the van with their ladder. Really clean looking setup in my opinion. On the passenger side, we've got Flatline's gear platform. That platform allows you to mount all sorts of different components or accessories on there. We have their standard storage box on the back. We love this storage box, easy access, a ton of storage in there, and a great drop-down table to give you some additional workspace if you want. So we replaced the rear bumper on this Transit with the Transit Off-Road Rear HD bumper. It's a cold rolled steel, super solid. It has an integrated hitch receiver into the body of the bumper. That allows us to remove the stock hitch and give you another 3.5–4 inches of departure angle at the back of the van. It also really feels solid getting in and out of the back of the van on this bumper. So this is our recommended bumper. We love setting this up for clients. And on the back left corner of the van, we've got our shore power inlet right there. That little plug allows you to plug in with a 15 amp circuit right into any old household outlet and charge your van at up to 15 amps. Really a great little clean solution. Nobody even knows it's there. Over on the driver's side of the van, we've got the flare space flare. Once again, that's been color matched to the ingot silver with the half slider window. And farther forward, we have an AM auto window that fits perfectly in the OEM stamp cutout for these windows. We love these windows. Open up, you get plenty of ventilation. Combine that with a MaxFan on the top of the van, and you've got a nice, cool van in the summertime. All right, guys, that's it for the exterior of this van. Let me show you the interior. So right up front in the cockpit of this van, this has got the Sync 4 HD screen. This is the biggest screen that Ford offers for the Transit. Easy access for all your climate control, Android Auto, CarPlay, all the good stuff. Has all the safety features, 360 camera. It's got adaptive cruise control. It's got a trailer brake controller, so if you are going to tow something that's heavy that has electronic brakes, you're already set up and ready to go. Really a great setup. Power heated seats, and we added swivels to them, so it's easy to swivel these things around and have yourself a nice little lounge area. For the doorway galley in this van, we've got a 36-inch galley from Lost Highway. This is in the black powder coat option. Really a nice clean look in our opinion. Highlighted by our drop-down table on the outside of the van. This is the perfect spot for making coffee in the morning. You've got an outlet here for using an induction cooktop or a blender or other kind of hot plate. You can charge a laptop or whatever you may need in this area. Folds up and out of the way. On the front of the galley, we've got our DR85 drawer style fridge. Easy to open this guy up. You have access from both outside the van and inside the van, really easy. Really good sized freezer section in here. Another tray that pulls out for cheeses, things along those lines. Fantastic galley and fridge combination. Right above that, we've got our drawer. This is perfect for utensils, junk drawer, knives, cutting boards, all the things that you might need for your cooking area in the van. And we've got our two switches, one for the gray tank and one for the water pump. This gray tank button, you push this, it'll open up the electric valve on the 16-gallon gray tank, and so you can drain it remotely. And this powers both the sink, the indoor shower, and the rear washdown sprayer, all from this one button for the water pump. On the front of the galley, we've got a 110 outlet with integrated USB-C ports on here. So these are the high power ports. You can totally charge a laptop from this location. We've got next to that a 12-volt outlet, so you have other 12-volt adapters that you need to run other charging devices. You can do that here. And we've got USB-A and two USB-C ports here as well. So plenty of charging capability in this van, easy accessible here on the galley. Nice little touch there. So for the top of the galley, we had our black aluminum countertop. This is our standard option. We think it's the best way to go. We've got a nice deep stainless steel sink with a cutting board in here. Plenty of room for dishes in this area. We've got both hot and cold water at the galley, as well as the Guzzle H2O water filter. So this is a neat little water filter for your van. Carbon block filter underneath that'll last for about 1,000 gallons, as well as a an infrared filter as well. So not only will it eliminate particulate, but also bacteria. So really neat setup for drinking water right from your main water tank in the van. We highly recommend these guys. So for our standard interior package for this van, we have our custom ceiling treatment on the top of this van. That's covering up the sheet metal with our sound deadening material and 3M Thinsulate all tucked up in the ceiling, so it adds a great bit of insulation. Our ceiling material with a custom design also adds sound deadening and thermal insulation as well. Our wall panel, this is a nice espresso color wall fabric from Marathon. It's a different color than we've used in the past, but it's really quite striking. We love it. That covers over also the 3M Thinsulate and the sound deadening material on the sheet metal to really make this a nice quiet van. And then at the very bottom, we've got our composite subfloor. This is a 3/4 inch subfloor. It's a foam and fiberglass material that has greater R value for insulation than Baltic birch plywood wood for the floor. We have it finished with a nice 2Tech2 flooring. This is in Moonless Night with an orange stripe, and that orange kind of goes with the ceiling material that we put in this van as well to tie this whole interior together. So overhead storage in this van, we've got our Molly panel that's custom fit for this sort of awkward location. We think it's fantastic for first aid kit, fire extinguishers. There's hooks that are 3D printed that you can get for this. You could hang jackets and backpacks as well. Next to that, we've got our 28-inch overhead cabinet. This is aluminum from Lost Highway. It's got a positive latching mechanism, so it'll keep the door open when you want and closed when you want. We've got our client's Starlink mini box in here. We've got next to that, a 52-inch cabinet. So two doors on this one, super solid. You could hang from these. They're not going anywhere. Plenty of space up here for bedding, clothing, whatever you need. And then finally, we've got one additional overhead cabinet over the galley. This is a perfect spot for cooking utensils. I keep my camp stove up in this area. This is also the location that we can put in a microwave cabinet if you'd like to have a microwave instead. This is the exact location that that would be. Sometimes folks want to swap that out. We can do that for you later on if you want to have a microwave cabinet, but really great setup for overhead storage right above the galley. So right next to the cabinet is our power kit console. This is a touchscreen controller for our power system. This will show you the state of charge for, in this case, two 5-kilowatt batteries for a total of 10,000 kilowatts. Excuse me, 10,000 watts. We've got our input here, so we've got alternator, we've got solar, we have a second solar input if you want to be able to use some flexible solar panels and plug those in, and we also have shore power, which is asleep right now, but once you plug it in, it automatically wakes up and will start charging. Nothing you need to do on your end. And we've got all the outputs here. So this is the DC section of the controller. So these are all your lights, your water pump, your Starlink, your USB ports. These are also switchable, so we can turn on and off the ceiling lights, our porch lights, and other roof rack lights. We also have the Starlink switched, and we have the hot water tank switchable as well. So you can turn that on if you've been parked for a couple of days and you want to get hot water for a shower. And then we've got all the other items, water pump, USB outlets, super easy. AC control here, 6 AC circuits for 120 power. We're utilizing just 2 on this van, but we've got your galley outlet and your drop down table outlet, but this is where you could turn on and off that. And then next to that, we've got the controller for the S-bar gas heater, which is mounted underneath the passenger seat. You can select your temperature that you'd like the heater to run at, and you can select the time period anywhere from 10 minutes all the way up to infinity, just keeping it on. Super easy to set up. Runs from the fuel tank, very efficient on fuel and battery power, and it'll keep this van nice and toasty warm. All right, so here we are sort of in the lounge area of the van. We've got an overall 60-inch bench seat here. We've got it covered with our same material that we put on the ceiling, so it looks really nice. Adds some additional grip for if you ever want to put cushions, whatnot. Plenty of storage in this box, 42 inches of width and 20 inches of depth. Plenty of space. We keep all of our window shades in this box currently for the client. And then we've got our lagoon table, easily accessible from just about anywhere in the van. So you could share a table here side by side. You can make it go way over there. It opens up. People in the front 2 seats could also access it. So a pretty central location for this table that is accessible by most of the van, which is pretty great in our opinion. And then right below that is our toilet. This is in a Lost Highway toilet box. This lid just opens up. We've got our wrap-on Trekker toilet in here. This handles your waste fantastically, where it heat seals it closed, wraps it up, cuts it off so you can dispose of 1 bag at a time, and it takes about 90 seconds for it to do its job. Really a clean, hygienic system for using the toilet in your van if you need it. So we recommend this setup for most of our clients. So for additional climate control in the van, in addition to the S-bar heater underneath the passenger seat, we've got 3 other items. We've got a MaxFan 7500. This is at the front of the van. Easy to open this up either manually right here on the unit or using the remote. You can have this open while you drive. You could have it open in the rain. Pair this with the half slider windows from AM Auto or the half slider windows in the bunks. You really get some nice airflow in the van. It helps keep this thing nice and cool. Towards the back, we've got a Pneumatic Cooling X2 AC unit. I love these AC units because of their flush manifold here upside, so it doesn't take up any more space inside the van. Easy to reach up there, turn it on and off from the AC unit itself, or you could use the remote control also. And the last but not least is our Scirocco fan. This little guy is awesome. It swivels, it rotates, it tilts in any direction that you need for some white noise, for air movement. It's a killer little fan, and I highly recommend these as well. So on the upper side of the passenger side of the van, we've got our 2 reading lights. These are super easy to turn on and adjust and put them wherever you like. They also will dim. You can press and hold the button and they'll dim to a setting that you like, and then they will maintain that brightness the next time you turn it on. Pretty cool little reading setup there. We also have a USB port on the side so you could plug in some other device and charge from the back of this guy also. We've got our half slider window here to show you how easy it is. Open this guy up. You got plenty of ventilation inside the van here with the integrated bug screen, so you don't have to worry about having the MaxFan suck a bunch of mosquitoes into the van, but really nice little setup to get some fresh air. For our bed system in this van, we've got our queen size bed set up. So the tall fender boxes from Lost Highway, the flare space flares give us 80 inches this direction, 60 inches this direction. I'm 6'3", I can fit here perfectly. I get a great night's sleep. We've got our 5-inch memory foam mattress from Roam Rest. It's a trifold mattress that hinges along this line here to be able to get it tucked up and out of the way. Super easy to move the mattress out of the way, and this gives us access to our Murphy bed panels. We can just fold these guys up, bungee up to the L-track hooks up top there. We can keep our bed panels right out of the way, which gives us access to our indoor shower. But here we are, boom, done. Now we got all this access, plenty of space for bikes, for gear, whatever you need. We also have a gear tray in this van. This thing, additional storage location, L-track front and back to be able to strap gear down, fully extends out the back. You'll notice that this is a shorter gear tray, but that's because we do have the indoor shower in this van, so we can't do our full-size gear tray, but it is a nice little compromise to still have access to under the van by pulling it out and still being able to have access to and use the indoor shower in this van. All right guys, so this is our indoor shower that's all set up. This is the shower curtain that comes with our Tetravan shower. Really lightweight, it dries really super quick, and it's also mildew resistant, so you can pack it away even if it's damp. I do that sometimes when I get home a day or two later. I hang it out to dry, make sure it's all good. We've got the entrance to the shower curtain here, so it just magnets in so you can step in. This whole shower curtain magnets to the frame of the shower curtain all the way around, so you've got a nice watertight seal, so you don't have to worry about getting water all over your van. The shower curtain just hangs from hooks in the ceiling. We have different color hooks on the front and the back to help you figure out the orientation when you're setting it up. So this is definitely our preferred setup for having a shower in your van. This thing disappears when you don't need it, so a super small footprint for a shower. Probably the best setup in our solution where it doesn't take up any additional space in your van. So one of the added benefits for these tall boxes from Lost Highway is the amount of storage that they come with. Right up top, we've got a huge 60 inches by 18 by I think about 13 inches worth of depth, so plenty of cubic feet worth of volume in here. I keep my bedding in here when don't have my bed set up, but you could keep it in recovery gear or camp chairs or even camp stove. But a ton of space in these boxes. You've got the same amount of space on the other side over here, so even though we do have the shower in here, it only takes up a couple inches of volume inside this box, so you got all this available space for storage also. So one of our clients recently reached out and said, hey, could we get our snowboards to fit inside these tall boxes? And we do have a snowboard in here, so there's a ton of space in here. Once again, get your boots in here, get your snowboards ready to go to hit the slopes. So right below our abundant storage above this, we've got our power system on the bottom part of this box. In this case, we've got two 5 kilowatts batteries from EcoFlow, so a total of 10 kilowatts, about 800 amp hours, plenty of capacity to run this van for days off grid. We have the distribution panel that handles all the AC and DC circuits in there, fuse panel and circuit breakers, so really easy to, if you see a fuse that pops, it's super easy to find out what it needs to be done to replace it, but we haven't had any problems with that. And we've got the power hub in front of that handles all of the input and output charging. So the shore power charging, the alternator charging, and the solar connections are all handled by that device, as well as a 3600 watt inverter for plenty of capacity. And we've got a Viair air compressor in the back here for airing up tires, paddle boards, bike tires, you name it. Really a neat little compact setup for plenty of airflow to be able to take care of all your air inflation needs. For our window shades, we use Van Essential for providing insulated window shades for all the windows that we put in the van. Show you how easy it is to set it up. You just pull this down and this just accordions down and right into place. It just magnets in. It's gonna keep it nice and insulated, keep the van blacked out and keep it nice and warm. Below that, we've got our Van Essential storage pouches here. So we've got two, one on each of the rear doors, plenty of space for gear. We have the compressor hose and fill valve in this area. I also keep some rags for keeping things clean. On the other side of the van, we've got an additional storage pouch here, some space in here for things, and a neat little drop down spot. This is perfect for keeping some of your toiletries if you want to be able to use the rear shower that also has hot and cold water out the back of the van. So if you don't want to use the indoor shower, you can use the exterior shower, easy access to gear. And this is also your fill location for the 24-gallon wheel well water tank. All right, guys, that's it for the tour of this 2025 high roof all-wheel drive Transit. We think we turned it into an awesome adventure van, some killer fun colors inside. Love how it turned out. If you'd like a van like this, please reach out. We got resources for new vans. If you'd like us to build your van, we can help out. We got build slots coming up later in the spring and summer. Also, if this kind of content appeals to you, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I hope to see you on the next video.